Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And I am so looking forward to sharing this one with you all because it is a base game only family home. And I have not done one in at least months. I can't say a super long time, but it's definitely been months at this point. And I wanted to do another base game build because I just really like the challenge every now and then. Plus, we did get those windows that were missing from the Industrial Loft kit added to base game. I want to say also months ago. I can't really remember. They came in a patch. We get frequent patches, so I have no clue when we got these. I don't recall, but I wanted to use them in a base game build, and I was just really looking to go back to basics. I think sometimes I can get super overwhelmed with the build and buy catalog, having almost all of the packs. I say almost all because contrary to popular belief, I do not have a full collection. No, I do not. I am missing one kit. I know that's not super significant. I really built that up, but I'm missing one kit. I don't have the Decor to the Max kit, and I don't plan on getting it anytime soon because I just had no interest in the style of that kit, but I basically do have a full collection when it comes down to that, which is why I wanted to do a base game home, because I know there are tons of people who either just have base game or have base game and maybe a couple of different packs. So this is a great opportunity for you all to customize this build if you do have additional packs. And if you don't, if you're just getting into The Sims 4 and you have base game, hopefully you think this home is nicer than a lot of the EA homes that you get by default in the 2 base game worlds. Or 3 base game worlds. No, it's 2, isn't it? No, it's 3. It's Willow Creek and Oasis Springs and Newcrest, I believe, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But you can see that the exterior of the home has pretty much come together at this point. It's a very simple shape. I really liked it, and I loved using those new windows in multiple spaces downstairs. They let in so much light, and it's so pretty. I also used a lot of debug plants to work on the landscaping, as I typically do in base game homes, especially starter homes, because with starter homes, you have a limited budget, and saving money on landscaping by using debug plants and just miscellaneous debug decorations is genuinely a lifesaver. I've also been contemplating something because I get asked this often enough that it's made me really think about it. Would you all be interested in starter homes with base game and whatever pack? Like if I were to do, for example, a starter home with just base game and seasons, or if I did a starter home with just base game and cats and dogs, would you want me to focus on just packs that ended up coming with worlds, or would you like starter homes going through all of the packs? I say that out loud. That might have been a mistake. There's like 50 plus packs. That could be difficult. That could get really old really quickly, especially with stuff packs where you don't get a lot of exterior items like for an actual house. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. I've been considering doing it because I have had a fair amount of people ask me to do more starter homes like that, because I do have a handful of starter homes that are just base game, but maybe mixing it up and adding in some pack restriction outside of just base game could be kind of fun for me. So let me know what you think. But I did struggle with how to fence in this home big time. I really tried to use some debug fences. I didn't want to go to my go-to fence, which is kind of the mission style fence. I use it for the backyard, but I did use this fence here, and then I just used a few different shrubs and whatnot to kind of pull it together. It was difficult. I thought it looked a little bit odd, and I think it looks odd because these fences just sit flat. They just sit flat on the grass, and the grass is flat. Like there's no real depth to the grass, like the default terrain that you're working on. So adding shrubs around this fence really did help. I wanted there to be a fence. I didn't want it to be too high where it was blocking everything, but I wanted a level of, or I wanted the ability to section off this lot from the others. Hopefully that makes sense. But I really enjoyed the landscaping. I've been loving landscaping more than ever lately, and I don't know why. I think it's because I'm allowing myself to just kind of go crazy with it. I don't know if you guys have noticed any difference, but I've really been enjoying it lately. And then this bike, this is technically base game. So if it flags for anything else, I am so sorry, but it should technically be base game because I had the pack disabler in my game. So there were no other packs even enabled when I was building this home. But I think this was something that you would get if you had ordered cottage living prior to a particular date. So I'm not sure if this is just default base game catalog, everyone gets it. Yeah, it's really weird actually now that I think about it, because I did disable all the packs. It was categorized as base game, but if for any reason it flags as cottage living, I'm gonna have to check. I'll check the gallery and maybe see if I can remedy that. It's not a huge deal if you don't end up having that. If you didn't have cottage living, you only have base game, you just won't have that bike, which isn't the end of the world, but I know it's not ideal. So if that does happen, I do apologize. But you can see that we're working on the floor plan, which I wanted to make sure I had narrowed down for both the first floor and the second floor before I started working on this. I don't typically do that, but I really wanted to do that here because I was a little bit iffy on how many bedrooms I would even be able to get in this build. It is only a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom? 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Yes, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. There is not an office. There's a living space, a kitchen, and a dining room. So I have like all of the major things covered. But it's a reasonably small family home. And now we are starting to pick out the flooring and the wallpaper, and I love this swatch of this wood flooring. It was something that we also got in an update to base game some time ago when we got tons of different swatches added to the game, including the swatches to these curtains, because we didn't have just the white version, which I use more than I care to admit. I use them all the freaking time. I love them. And I went with a very, I'm going to say, neutral color scheme in this build. I think a lot of things in base game are fairly neutral. They're either neutral or they're overly saturated and colorful, and it's just not the vibe I was going for. So I use these couches, which are technically a career unlock. So if you have the bb.ignore gameplay unlocks entitlement cheat, it's such a mouthful. If you have that enacted in your game, you'll be able to unlock these couches in the regular build and buy catalog. They're the best base game couch in my opinion. They only have 3 swatches, and this is my favorite swatch. So when I end up building with base game, I often use these. I try to mix it up, but it's honestly super hard sometimes. Even though I always say base game is more versatile than people give it credit for, which I still stand by that. It's still difficult to build with base game sometimes, but you can see that I am trying to clutter up the fireplace here. I've got a few stacks of books. I have the little fire pokers next to the fireplace, and then there's just a picture frame and a little statue. And this is going to be the kitchen, which has a very different layout than I've done before. It was kind of an odd shape with the archways being in different places, as well as the back door to the back porch. So I was going to divide it up like this, but then realized I really wouldn't have space for even a informal dining space. That's kind of what I usually go for. It's either an informal dining space or I call it like a breakfast table or something. And I didn't have space for it there if I were to do that layout. So I kind of just split where the countertops were. I kind of created a separate little countertop bar area over there. I think that's where the sink ends up going, which is maybe a little bit strange, but I thought it worked out. And then I end up being able to put a little 4-seater dining table right in the kitchen. So that's where the family can have their breakfast informally, and maybe for bigger family meals or holidays, they could pop on over into the formal dining room. So think about holidays, actually, the calendar is part of base game now, which I always forget. I always forget that. Isn't that wild? I wonder what traditions are actually, if that's included with the calendar in base game now. Because if you guys didn't know, the calendar that's in base game used to be a seasons expansion pack feature. I kind of have some mixed feelings on paid content being moved to base game, but at the same time, I'm really happy that more people get more things added to base game, because it was really lacking when it kind of first came out. So it's been fun to see it evolve over time. But yeah, I don't know if you have traditions. If you are a player that only has base game and you've used the calendar, definitely let me know, because I have no idea. But you can see that the kitchen is coming together at this point. I used this nice glass, kind of modern table, and then I paired it with these chairs that we got in an update that a CC creator, Hey Harry, made specifically for the update, as well as this dining table. I love those chairs and that table so much. But since I used them in the formal dining area, I decided to switch up the chairs that were in the kitchen. And then I reverted right back to what I had, because there was nothing else that was sparking any amount of joy for me at all. But you can see that the formal dining room has some of these big windows that were added to base game. It's just so pretty in that room. I almost made it the living space, but I didn't think it was really going to work with trying to place a fireplace and a television, and it just didn't seem like it would have the appropriate layout. But here I am trying to clutter up the kitchen and pulling out some other items for that dining room, and I think I only end up leaving one countertop available for cooking, so that cook together feature, which I believe is also base game. This is making me think about what's actually in base game or not, because I haven't played with just base game since the game came out. I want to say maybe a couple years later when I started actually getting packs, because I didn't understand that packs were being released because I wasn't immersed in the community. Anyway, I have no idea. I don't remember if those are a base game thing or not. But this is the little kind of office area. I'm not going to call it an office, but this is basically the family computer. It's in a little bit of a nook that's tucked behind the stairs, and this is access to the downstairs bathroom, which is really big. I was kind of surprised. It's a decent sized bathroom, and what I ended up putting in there is a tub that I also didn't know was base game. It's a little kind of corner tub. It's a big, luxurious, maybe I would assume that's almost kind of like a hot tub. It's like a like the jet tub. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. It's kind of like a jet tub. I thought it was such a nice way to use that object in a build, because upstairs the bathroom is pretty much my normal size, which is like a 2x3, and that's just enough to fit the sink, the toilet, and a shower tub combo, if that's what you were going for. But here I had a lot of space to play around with. I did kind of move some things around, try to play around with the layout, but I think the windows, because they were so big and the placement was a little bit awkward, I just stuck with that big jet tub. I added 2 of these faux hampers by the window, and then there's the sink and the toilet, of course, so your Sims can do all they need to do in the bathroom. And then we end up moving on to the upstairs after I kind of pick out a few different decorations for here and the hallway, because the entryway was a little bit snug, so I end up putting a console table here with, I want to say, another painting and just a few different clutter items as well. And this was another CC Makers contribution to base game. This was by Peacemaker CC, and it is such a pretty modern looking kind of contemporary console table. I think they also contributed a dresser, which I really like. I don't believe I used it in this build, but it's really pretty if you guys have not seen it for any reason, which I say this as if a majority of you haven't. Maybe you haven't, I don't know. I don't like making assumptions. But now we're working on the upstairs. There's a big landing area because of trying to create like different entry points to all of these different rooms. And this is going to be the parents' room. This is probably one of my favorite swatches of this bed from base game. I probably use it far too often in base game builds, but I think it's one of the prettiest swatches that's not too harsh on the eyes, especially with that pattern on the comforter. It feels like an assault on my eyeballs sometimes. So I really like this one because it's a little bit softer. It's not as aggressive. I don't know if you all will agree, but they do have this dresser over here in the corner. I give them a small little TV up there. There's a little plant. And then I think I add a chair and just a few more pieces of artwork, as well as the faux hampers. The faux hampers come in so handy in base game builds. I absolutely love using those because it just adds that little touch of realism. But this is the artwork that I ended up going for just because the comforter had kind of those blue tones. And then I put a mirror and just kind of a little side table, I think, with this flower. I'm not even sure if I keep it. I think I do, but it was kind of a difficult space to decorate without repeating artwork or tossing in, I say, too many plants. I don't think you can ever have too many plants, but I wasn't going for a heavy plant build. And then this is going to be the child's room. So I was picturing a child, but you could of course customize this for any family dynamic that you wish. And I was going to go for an orange and black theme, and that just felt like Halloween to me. I could not do it. So I ended up going with the red, black, and white. And that was kind of fun. I haven't done something like that in a long time. The last time I remember doing it was this huge 8-sim apartment in San Myshuno, the world that came with City Living. I think that was the last time I had such bold colors like this. I could be totally wrong, but I really enjoyed this room. I liked that I was able to get a fair amount of, I want to say, activities. Like there's the wardrobe, there's the stuffed teddy bear, and then I think I also give this child some violin because we're a bit limited on what we have for children in general in the game, especially in base game. I do clutter up the walls with tons of posters. I add this cute little lamp, and then I added a dollhouse as well because that was one of the few items that we did have for kiddos to play with, and I believe that toddlers can play with that too. Not I believe. I know they can. I know toddlers can. So if you ended up having a toddler in this build or something like that, you could swap out a few items and it would still be perfectly fine for whatever family you're playing with. This is going to be the upstairs bathroom. There is only a shower in here, not a shower tub combo. My mistake. So there's a bathtub and a shower. I didn't give them a combo in either bathroom. It doesn't really affect too much though, I don't think. Then we move on to this little landing area where I do give them I was going to say a family computer. I already did that. I added a chess table instead. And then I think I just added a few more decor items. I really didn't clutter it up too much just because I didn't want to repeat artwork. I do that a lot and I wasn't in the mood when I was building this to browse the gallery for custom artwork. That's a great way to enhance a base game build. But usually when I do base game, not all the time, but usually I try to simply use what's in the catalog to kind of showcase how you can use different things instead of getting super creative and trying to find things on the gallery that technically are custom artwork but don't flag as custom content. That's something that you can see a lot in base game builds, which is fantastic. I just try not to do it too much. But this is going to be the back porch. I did decorate the little balcony upstairs just with a little table, little place to sit, and then down on that bottom porch is a grill and a full dining table, and this is going to be a little sandbox. So I think I might have added a toddler slide. I don't remember. No, I didn't. I added this dollhouse and then a lounge chair because I remember there wasn't a toddler in this build, but I also add monkey bars and I want to say a few gardening plots, and then that's pretty much it for the backyard. I didn't think I had a space for a pool. It was just going to be a little bit too small to really be worth it, in my opinion. But I did carry the landscaping through, and I had less space than I thought, so I had to get a little bit creative. But that is pretty much it for this build. I hope you all enjoyed this base game only home, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!
The sign was given, it's in the way you move and in the sound of your heart. We tend to fall together, fall in love, and still in the end we'll fall apart. So as hope is that we stay close, but it's the life that we chose. It takes time to get it right. Sleepless days and nights. We just need a little more. Just a little time for you and I. So stay a bit longer. Just a little time for you and I. Until it's over. Just a little time. I think that we got blinded, 'cause when it's good it's great, so we can't see we're fading away. So as hope is that we stay close, but it's the life that we chose. It takes time to get it right. Sleepless days and nights. We just need a little more. Just a little time.